Back to my channel. I'm literally wearing a dress right now. Why? What's the point? Y'all can't see below here, but I'm wearing a dress and it's so cute. Hopefully there'll be some cute ass Instagram pictures out there. But anyways, we have more important things to talk about than how cute I look in this motherfucking dress. This is the first video on my channel since Biden has become our president. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I kind of like that my last background was orange and this one is not orange. So it's like, bye orange. Orange, bye. Sorry, girl. But anyways, if you guys are in the same Twitter circles that I am, you would have woken up to a trending hashtag, a hashtag that was trending yesterday or today. Hashtag Biden erased women was trending on Twitter. So, you know, me being the feminist I am, being, you know, the women's rights activist that I am, I clicked on that shit and I was like, well, what's happening? What did he do? What did he do? Honestly, it's just not even surprising at this point. You guys, like, I'm sure that you could have guessed it, but it's just a bunch of TERFs responding to an executive order that Biden just put into place protecting LGBT people from discrimination. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into the details. We're gonna read some tweets from some TERFs. But yeah, I post new videos here on my channel every Monday and Thursday, or at least twice a week. I know my schedule is kind of off, but I do post twice a week, Monday and Thursday most of the time. So if you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to keep as up to date with me as possible. And also I have a Patreon, so if you guys want to donate to this channel, the link for that is down below as well. But yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into talking about how Biden erased the women. Girl, bye. On Biden's first day in office, he signed multiple executive orders, you know, rejoining the Paris Agreement, you know, climate change, all that kind of stuff. He signed an executive order initiating a response to COVID, but one that really stood out to me as a trans person. Let me just read it. So it's an executive order on preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. I'ma cry. Yes, motherfucking bitch. Day one, we already got one. We love him. Love to see it. It's a fairly short executive order. There are 4 sections. We're gonna go section by section. I'll break it down for you guys real quick. So section 1 defines the policy, and I just wanna read like the first paragraph for you guys because it's so heart-touching and cute. It might be the estrogen in my system, but I thought it was so sweet. Every person should be treated with respect and dignity and should be able to live their life without fear, no matter who they are or whom they love. Period. This part's good. This part's good. Children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports. That's about the trans student like being banned. We're gonna talk about it, it's fine. Adults should be able to earn a living and pursue a vocation, knowing they will not be fired, demoted, or mistreated because of whom they go home to, or because how they dress does not conform to sex-based stereotypes. People should be able to access healthcare and secure a roof over their heads without being subjected to sex discrimination. All persons should receive equal treatment under the law, no matter their gender identity or sexual orientation. He says that these principles are reflected in the Constitution as well as the nation's anti-discrimination laws. This is the important part because if you remember, the whole Trump administration tried to, you know, redefine what Title VII meant so that it wouldn't include transgender people, blah, blah, blah. They employed the Bostock versus Clayton County ruling, which basically says that laws that prohibit sex discrimination do also prohibit discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. Some of the non-discrimination laws that they gave as an example include Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, the Fair Housing Act, as well as the Immigration and Nationality Act. But honestly, probably my favorite part of the executive order is the end of section 1, where they highlight intersectionality and the role that intersectionality plays in the discrimination that LGBT people face. So I'll just read this paragraph from the end of section 1. It says, discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation manifests differently for different individuals, and it often overlaps with other forms of prohibited discrimination, including discrimination on the basis of race or disability. It goes on to say, for example, transgender Black Americans face unconscionably high levels of workplace discrimination, homelessness, and violence, including fatal violence. I think this is probably the first time that trans people have even been mentioned in an executive order, not to mention highlighting the fact that Black trans people are being literally murdered. Section 2 of the executive order goes on to just detail how they're going to enforce it. Section 2A says review all the orders, regulations, guidance documents, policies, programs, etc. Section 2B says to revise, suspend, rescind, or even to create additional actions to fully implement the statutes in Section 1. And then Section 2C actually goes on to clarify that additional actions should be considered to combat the overlying or overlapping discrimination that people face. Talking again about that intersectionality. And then Section 2D, Mr. President Biden gives them a deadline of 100 days. He says, get it done. You got 100 days, period. I've said period way too much, but I'm just so excited. Section 3 of the thing defines what an agency is. I'll just put like a little thing here that kind of, this is what an agency is. You're welcome. And then part 4 is just the general provision saying that, it must comply with other laws, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. There's definitely more work to be done. This definitely doesn't fix all the problems that trans or LGBT people face, but it's a great first step. It's day 1. We gotta give them some time to like get things together. The Human Rights Campaign actually responded to the executive order. And again, I wanna read to you what they had to say about it. They said that Biden's executive order is the most substantive, wide-ranging executive order concerning sexual orientation and gender identity ever issued by a president of the United States or by a United States president. Today, millions of Americans can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that their president and their government believe discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity is not only intolerable, but illegal. By fully implementing the Supreme Court's historic ruling in Bostock, the federal government will enforce federal law to protect LGBTQ people from discrimination in employment, healthcare, housing, education, and other key areas of life. And then, like I said, there's still work to be done. So they say, while detailed implementation across the federal government will take time, this executive order will begin to immediately change the lives of millions of LGBTQ people seeking to be treated equally under the law. I don't even know how anybody can be mad at this. Like, why are you guys creating hashtags Biden erased women? Bitch, how? This is literally... discrimination is wrong and we're gonna make it illegal. And they're like, bitch, I took that personally. I don't get it. I don't get it. Something else that really stood out to me that, gave me a lot of hope for the future is the fact that the Biden-Harris team is listening to us. They're listening to what we need and, they're responding to that. In another quote from the HRC, it says, over the months since Election Day, HRC made clear to the Biden-Harris transition team that implementing Bostock should be one of the top LGBTQ priorities for the upcoming administration. They were like, all right, period. All right, got you. If you guys don't know, before this executive order, it was actually legal to evict people just for being transgender, to fire people just for being transgender in, I think, over 20 states in the United States. Thanks to this executive order, no more. There really isn't much else to say about this executive order other than like, great job. Y'all that's a great thing to do. Prevent discrimination against trans people, against LGBT people. Cool, thank you. They're not only afraid to admit that trans people, first of all exist, but that they face institutional problems that need to be addressed. On the first day, this executive order is protecting trans adults from being fired, from being evicted all over the country, but it also protects those young, vulnerable trans teenagers in high school that have become the new target of the right. I talked about it in my last video, but we have the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, which again would cut federal funding to any of the schools that allow someone assigned male at birth to compete in girls' athletics. That did not get passed, fortunately, but this executive order would have wiped that out completely. You may be thinking, how are transphobes, how are TERFs even mad about this? Like, what are they arguing? Trust me, I know what you mean. I don't understand how people could argue against an executive order that does nothing but prevent discrimination against people. The first hashtag Biden erased women tweet that I want to read to you guys is from Abigail Shrier. If you guys know Abigail Shrier, I'm sure that you all do if you watch my channel, but she's the girl, she's the woman that wrote that book, The Transgender Craze Seducing Our Teenagers, or something like that. I don't even fucking know, she's just on some bullshit. But she tweeted about the executive order saying, on day 1, Biden unilaterally eviscerates women's sports. Any educational institution that receives federal funding must admit biologically male athletes to women's teams, women's scholarships, etc. A new glass ceiling was just placed over girls. Bye. Girl, bye. It's so funny to me too because in my last video, Mr. Donald Trump Jr. actually provided us with a resource, with a nice little study that shows that trans students, trans youth, they don't have any biological advantage over, their cisgender counterparts. Y'all provided that for us, just so you know. It's just so sad that there's no avenue left for them to discriminate, so now they're attacking literal high school students, literal, minors. Pick on somebody your own size. You want to pick on someone? Pick on me, bitch. I don't know how old you are. Maybe you just don't remember high school, but high school's hell. I guarantee you that no teenage cisgender boy is going to be pretending to be a girl in school so that they can play on the girls' soccer team. I knew that I was transgender my senior year, but I pretended to be a boy for so long because I knew that I would be bullied. I knew that I would be attacked. I don't even know what to say, but the fact that she's going around and saying that we're the ones that are targeting people and we're the ones blah, 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 doing all this stuff to hurt people. First of all, there's no evidence to show that that's real. There's no data that backs it up. But what's the point? Give us some data that shows that trans girls are dominating sports in high schools. It's not happening. This tweet from another TERF says, I get called TERF because I believe women have a right to our own sports, prisons, refugees, and spaces, and because I believe children should be protected from people who seek to sexualize them and to confuse them about who they are. Happy to stand for what I do. Hashtag Biden erased women. You believe women have a right to their own sports, that's fine. But trans women are women. There's a flaw in your thing. But the part where she was like, children should be protected from people who seek to sexualize them. The only people that are sexualizing a trans identity are people like you. Are the TERFs, are the transphobes, are the people on the right. Gender identity is not at all related to your sexual orientation, period. People do not transition for sexual reasons, period. Trans women do not transition for sexual reasons. Trans men do not transition for sexual reasons. Non-binary people are not non-binary for sexual reasons. Like, that's you. That's you saying that. And you know why they say that? Because they have no other argument other than to try to sexualize us to make us seem like predators. This is a tweet that we like from Miss Charlotte Clymer. She says, there is zero evidence, not a shred, that protecting trans women against discrimination harms cis women. We have asked for it many times, and all transphobes have is conjecture, lies, and performative fear, disguising ignorance and hatred. Equality will win. Very true. And cis women, for the most part, agree with this. Like, I don't want you guys to think that it's like trans women against cis women. Most cis women are cool. Like, most cis women don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you are cis women. A lot of you are like, I don't know why this bitch is so crazy. Like, you've done nothing. For all you cool cisgender women out there, thank you. All you cool cisgender men too. All the cool cisgender people, period. Y'all are all cool. Love you. If you want to see some examples of that, just click on the Biden Erase Women hashtag. There's tons of cis women out there defending trans people. I see you. I appreciate you. We've officially taken over the Biden Erase Women hashtag. It's kind of a joke now. It's kind of funny. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. I don't like, I have no argument to like try to disprove or like talk about, because TERFs are just like, trans women are men, blah, blah, blah. And like, we all know that's not true. We all know that's not true. Anyways, if you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. Comment down below what your favorite part of the executive order is, or the most cringy Biden Erase Women tweet that you saw was. Make sure to subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Hit the little bell so that you get notified when I post a new video. I'm talking so fast. And other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in Monday's video. Bye, guys.